Yo, what is up? MGG here, and I'm bringing you another series from the AfrOtakus. I'm playing with the name right now, so I'm just going to call it Trash or Lit Villains. This series is going to be a chance for me to discuss some of my favorite, popular, or iconic anime villains, and give you a little description about who they are, where they come from, maybe a little bit of some of their feats and what they can do, and then share my personal opinion on whether or not I thought they were a great villain. Without further ado, let's get into today's first villain of the series, or should I say villains, the Dark Triad from Black Clover. Let's get into it.
We must pay homage to him.
Alright, one more thing before we get into the video. This will definitely contain spoilers from the manga and anime, so if you're not all the way caught up, probably don't want to watch this. If you are, or you don't care, let's get right into it. So, these siblings grew up in the Spade Kingdom. At the time, Spade Kingdom was really war-torn, with the Diamond Kingdom constantly attacking them. People were losing people left and right. Lots of danger. Dante, Vanica, and Zenon all had their own personal struggles during that time. But at the end of the day, which we don't really know much about as of now, some time passed and they were able to usurp the throne from the Spade Kingdom royalty. During that time, they each gained some sort of relationship or demon powers from their own individual devils. Zeno being Beelzebub, Dante being Lucifero, and Vanica being Megicula. They were able to take the power of the Spade Kingdom and start to use that to now fulfill a different destiny, which was to bring the demons into the human world. And they do that, or they're attempting to do that, or were attempting to do that by kidnapping important mages to help create the tree of Kilkoff they could use to eventually summon the demon lord. That's a little bit of background of who they are. Let's talk a little bit about their abilities. So Zenon Zogratis magic is from his own personal mage abilities is bone magic. His book grants him the power to generate and manipulate his own bones. And then from his demon relationship, devil partner, so to call it Beelzebub, he gets the ability to use spatial magic, which allows him to obviously manipulate space. This makes him very powerful. We see him do a lot of things in the story with these various abilities. Most of the time we see him using the bone magic. The spatial magic he kind of uses to teleport from space to space, and a lot in his final fight with Yuno. So Dante Zogratis is, I believe, the eldest brother of the group, and kind of seen as, at least the way he came off in the story, he's kind of seen as more or less the leader of them for the time being, before a later reveal, which I won't talk about much because it's not as pertinent to this video. So he's able to use body magic naturally. That's his Spade Kingdom given magic was body magic. So he's able to manipulate his bodily tissues, grow in size, strength, etc. The magic he gets from the demon Lucifero is gravity magic. It allows him the ability to manipulate gravity, which, as you can already tell, is pretty dope. If you've seen any other gravity users, most notably, I guess, right now in the shonen universe, probably Uraraka, but I don't think she goes as crazy with her gravity magic as she probably could, but that's for another video. So the last sibling we have is Vanica Zogratis, and her abilities, her natural magic ability is blood magic. She's able to manipulate blood, obviously, aka bloodbending. And then the magic she gets from the demon Megicula is curse magic. She's able to generate curses, create curses, and she put some curses on some pretty notable people in the story. I believe Megicula put a curse on Charlotte Rosalie's family, maybe sometime in the past. If I'm wrong, my bad. And then obviously most notably is Noelle, which is kind of used to fuel their internal battle. So now we've talked about their abilities. I've given you a little background on who they are. Where do I stand on these three villains as a whole? And to be honest, I'm mixed. I want to give them a lit, but I will say where we're at in the story, they ended up disappointing as villains. So I want to give them a trash as well. But what I'll say is this, and obviously for the first video, I'm pretty much kind of giving you how this may play out in some villains. Some it may be a clear line, some it may be a little gray. This is one where it's a little gray. I'm going to give them trash on maybe like their overall villainy, but I have to give them lit in terms of what they were able to do as villains to the story. Meaning the growth and development they were able to spawn, to me by proxy almost makes them great villains. But let's get into why. So they suck kind of because, I mean, villains get defeated, but in their particular case, I feel like their defeat didn't necessarily justify the hype that was put on them, maybe. Let's just say, I feel like it boils down to this. They talked a lot of shit, and at the end of the day, they couldn't back it up. They did something real bold when they each one of them first came into the story. They both, Vanica attacked the Water Kingdom, really got the smoke and got heated, like got Noelle heated. Dante pulled up right to the Black Bull's base, dropped most of them, and was able to steal their captain from them. And Zeno beat the unbeatable. Yuno hadn't taken an L up until that point, and Zeno dropped him. So we saw them come in with a lot of big smoke, but they kind of went out without. So now why I give them the lit though is the amazing growth and scenes they were able to spawn out of the heroes in the story. So I talked about their hype, but the major fights that they had coming back were just like mind-blowing. So each one of them started shit with a major character or majorly important character. So for Dante, it was obviously with Asta and the whole Black Bull squad, which more or less they're like main characters in the story. Vanica, she pissed off Noelle, and a little bit of the Heart Kingdom. Those were like majorly important characters just for the arc. And then Zeno, he pissed off Yuno, which is Asta's rival, and basically like one person we've never seen lose before. At least not in that way. So to see him just take total defeat, we knew something was gonna come of that. Their initial defeat spawned an entire training arc for each one of these characters. Yuno had his own training arc. Asta had his own time skip / training arc. And Noelle also had her training arc. The other thing is just their interest into the story struck so much fear into the characters. Luck, for example, who is a character in the series who just loves to fight, like a berserker type, he was shook watching Zeno just from a distance. He was scared to fight someone. This is a guy who runs up on people who are out of his league with no hesitation. He was frozen in his tracks just to make a statement about how powerful these people were. They spawned training arcs out of pretty much every majorly important character in the Black Clover Kingdom at that time. And then we come back to this final fight and we just get amazingness from all of them. This is why it's hard for me to give them a total trash, because they spawned one of the best arcs of Black Clover. Even though they may have ended shitty as villains, they sparked amazing growth, amazing scenes. From Asta, we got a real relationship with his devil finally, an upgrade in power, and a little bit more character development from the both of them. From Noelle, we got resolution to a major plot point for her character, which was her mother, and her mother being cursed, and who her mother lost to and died to, and all this stuff. Her defeating Vanica and Megicula resolved a major issue in her historical timeline, meaning she freed herself. Charlotte also freed herself from a family curse that was given to them by Megicula. That's major. A person who took an L before, came back around, and not only did we learn about his true heritage and find out, spoiler alert once again, that his original book, The Wind Magic, isn't even Yuno's. It is the elf son, Lich's son's magic that he's been using this whole time. His actual magic is from the Spade Kingdom. It's called star magic that he has. His mom had moon magic, I believe, and his dad had sun magic, and their kids spawned to have star magic. This is Yuno's original magic. That is a huge development. All spawned by these 3 villains. Not only that, jumping back to Dante, we got to see Magna, who has been pretty much a Rock Lee or a Chad-esque type of character in the Black Clover universe. A guy who's just never really been able to get past the big guys. He's a little bit of comic relief at times, but he's just like always there thugging it out. We got so much growth for him this year. He pulled out this Soul Chain Deathmatch magic that allowed him to beat Dante. And I want you guys to understand, this is a Chad or a Rock Lee beating in the context of this story, I'm being honest, a Madara-esque villain. That is how Dante was positioned, as just this like unbeatable type of dude. You can lower it down a couple of tiers, but I want people to understand the gap that I'm talking about here. Magna was able to close that gap and defeat Dante. That alone was beautiful. While from the villain perspective, it's like, yo, this nigga got hoed by like a shitty character. From the development perspective, from what this means for the story, it was huge. So for those points, those reasons, I gotta summarize and end this and give the Dark Triad probably more of a lit, man. And once again, this lit is not based off them necessarily. While I do think their powers were amazing and cool, I think we could have seen a little bit more from them. I have to give them a lit because of the development they were able to pull out of a story. And that, I think, a lot. That's one major part of shonen that I think people don't realize or maybe miss at times, is that sometimes the villains we love are great not because they themselves were great villains, but because they were able to pull out development, growth, and new power in some cases from the main characters or an important character or even a character we didn't care about and make us invested in the story. And these 3 people made me super invested in this arc. I am constantly wondering why people aren't talking more about Black Clover. So they got to get a lit for me. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Dark Triad. Also, let me know what villains you might want me to do next. I got a couple queued up, but I want to see what else I need to start looking at. Other than that, man, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one of these, man. I enjoyed it. I'm out.